Hi guys, in this video I'm going to cover the content of the Unit 6 BTEC Level 3 Business exam, so how to do the exam. Now about the exam. Now this exam is going to be split into two parts, Part A and Part B. Part A is going to contain a case study which you will use in order to prepare for the exam. Your teacher is going to give you guidance on how to complete the preparation. The case study will give you instructions and it will give you activities. Read the case study very carefully. You could be asked on anything covered in the unit, and you could be asked to analyze and evaluate data. Now, sitting the test. The test will be supervised. In your test, you'll need to be able to analyze data, analyze management information, and identify and apply management principles. A pass mark will require you to justify the styles and the skills required in different management situations. You also need to be able to show that you understand the factors that influence management and the performance of the workforce. Justify recommendations that you have proposed to business, and it must relate to the content. Now, before you sit the test, make sure that you've got everything that you need for the test and arrive in plenty of time, and plan out your time very well so that you get a chance to proofread and correct any mistakes before you do hand it in. Now I'm going to go through a worked example. So part A is your set task brief. So let's take an example that you're working for the quality department in a manufacturing company. It produces high energy drinks. Your boss, who is the quality manager, has asked you to carry out quality checks of each department, starting with sales, to contribute to a report on the continuing viability of the business. So you need to identify the issues in this case study and carry out preparations for completing the tasks related to this unit. Make sure that you read this carefully and that you understand exactly what you need to do before you start your work. Think about how you will make the best use of both your space and your time that you have available. Now, this is the Part A case study that you've been given. It's about Activate Drinks case study. So high energy drinks are often associated with healthy lifestyles and leisure type activities. The sports industry is also associated with consuming high energy drinks as a means to sustain intensive activities. Activate introduced their range of energy drinks in early 2000, and the business went well, increasing sales year on year until 2012 when they started to decline. So now make sure that you've fully understood what you need to do from the set task brief. You need to look at the viability of the business. So this piece of information about how well the business is doing is very, very crucial. Circle the keywords in the text that you can go and research further, so you can find the meanings of them if you don't understand them. Now let's carry on. So although competition between brands is widespread, with Red Bull being a market leader, sales overall are up by 6.7% in the USA alone in the year from 2013. It is very, very important that you highlight any numbers in the text, any figures, as you may need to refer to them when you're writing up your answer. The sales team has doubled since the year 2000 to 20 personnel, overseen by a sales director who is promoted from being production manager in the factory. The sales team have either been recruited externally or internally from other non-sales related roles. As the Activate brand was a new concept, which was introduced as a new total new line for the business long established in manufacturing, the bottles for other high energy drink manufacturers, the leaders made the strategic decision to make and package in-house rather than only make and distribute drinks to manufacturers. All sales have fallen, and the sales director has been unable to confirm why. The quality department have now stepped in to investigate the possible reasons for this decline. Now, it's very important to highlight any important figures that you have been given. Note that the information about the sales director might be important as it gives you the background about any previous roles that he has had, which might be relevant later. And it might be important to refer to the history of how the product was made later, and also the history of the business as being a manufacturer. Now let's carry on. One of the theories the quality team are keen to explore is the structure of the sales department, which has been operating in a laissez-faire manner. Although the current leader has a managerial background, the context of manufacturing is not the same as managing a sales team and dealing with customers directly. As businesses grew rapidly, there was little time for any training, and only 2 of the team who were recruited externally had sales experience from the retail sector. The sales director reports that the department is extremely frantic and that everyone has kept busy dealing with inquiries, talking to production, chasing suppliers for raw materials, and there's never enough time for meeting, appraisals, and other stuff, which the director quotes gets in the way of the day-to-day business. When asked about the benefits of employing 2 members with sales experience, the sales director is quick to respond. They're young and both worked in a different sector, although they have some useful qualities. Think about here what the sales director could be implying. It could indicate how the sales department operates as a culture. Now, in response to the sales director reporting that the department is always extremely busy, the quality team have asked for records of staff attendance to check whether the pressure and amount of work is too great for the number of staff employed. The only records that they had available are for 6 months starting 2015, due to, as stated by the sales director, the pressure of work and lack of apparent support from the administration team or the HR. You might want to practice interpreting graphs here for this sort of data. So you might want to practice using graphs. Maybe if you're unsure, ask your teachers for help, as it will help you analyze data. So here's an example of a table that you could receive in your exam here, as it shows the sales department absenteeism. So the staff absenteeism, and it shows how many absences they've had each month. It could be due to payroll, sick, maternity leave, holiday, compassionate leave. Now in your exam, or in your case study, you could receive a similar table to this. So you'll need to learn how to analyze it, make a graph, so that you can talk about it when you're writing up your answer. Now, let's look at Part B, Activity 1. So after you've undertaken your research relating to the high energy drink sector and the situation in the business, you now need to produce a report for your quality manager. In the report, you identify key issues and you include recommendations for the sales department. Remember that it has been made clear that removing Activate from the product line is not going to be an option, as it is too expensive for the business. Now, let's look at the Part B, Activity 1, a possible answer that you could write out. So you plan out the structure of your report, have all the necessary headings, and end with a conclusion and recommendations, and also include a contents page. Discuss these following key issues. Now, if we look at the case study that we've just been looking at, here are some of the following key issues that have been seen, which is there's been inappropriate leadership style, the sales team have limited experience, there's lack of delegation, there's poor planning and organization, and there are weak management skills. You might find it useful to tick off each aspect as you refer to them in your report, so you know exactly what you've talked about. Now here's some example answers that you could write relating to this case study. So from the evidence gathered, we can see that the sales department operates under a laissez-faire management style, and this affects the efficiency of the department, and so on. My recommendations include upskilling the sales director so that he can have knowledge in the sales context. This will allow him to understand the data that he receives and helps his staff. Make sure that you make it clear when you're stating facts and when you're stating your own opinion. When you are using business terminology, make sure that you do use it correctly and in the right context. So if you don't understand the meaning of any business terminology that does come up, do research them before you sit the exam and make sure you know the exact meaning of them. Now, let's look at Part B, Activity 2, which is the PowerPoint, the presentation. You need to prepare a maximum of 6 slides, or how many have been recommended by your teacher to you, with speaker notes for a presentation. This presentation is going to contribute to a meeting between the quality manager, the boss, and the sales director, looking back at this case study. You are going to provide them with an evaluation based off the data in the staff absenteeism, so that table that was given to you, and you will propose them an approach to managing HR. You're going to explain an impact of managing change on the potential sales opportunities. Your slides should just present the headlines and not be too cluttered. So don't lose valuable time on animations or transition features. Rather than lots of words, you may want to include diagrams to show structure. So for slide 1, this is an example relating back to the case study. You could talk about the sales department, staffing and structure, talk about what structure they should move to, they'll build on the skills of the existing staff. Slide 2, you could talk about the staff absenteeism, analyze the table, discuss what the table indicates, and discuss the possible limitations that the table might have. In slide 3, you could talk about the culture of the business, talk about theories that could be applied. Slide 4, give any recommendations. So undertake appraisals, evaluate job roles and skills, review job descriptions, implement training, and set targets. Now make sure that when you are writing these slides, you have minimal information on the slides and the rest of your information will all go into your speaker notes. Like how you would do a normal presentation, you would have minimal information there and then your speaker notes is what you would talk about. Hopefully this video has helped you understand better how to go about the Unit 6 exam and what will be required for you to do. If you did like this video, then give it a like, subscribe to my channel for more videos like this, follow my Instagram page for updates on videos and resources. Good luck.